Is Michael Carrick finally demanding the respect he deserves at Old Trafford after transforming this Manchester United side? That is the big question today. Welcome back to United Watch, your home for the most direct and honest Red Devils news. Hit like and subscribe right now, and let's start our news and analysis. Michael Carrick has officially broken his silence on his future. During the pre-match press conference for the Sunderland game, he was blunt: clarity is vital. He stated that the end of the season is the natural time to sit down and decide his permanent role. This is a massive shift from a man who usually plays it safe. Carrick knows he has the leverage now, sitting third in the Premier League after beating Liverpool 3-2. He isn't begging for the job. He's stating that for the project to move forward, the maybe from the board has to end. It's a bold move that puts the ball firmly in the hierarchy's court. But if you think Carrick's demand for clarity was the biggest statement of the day, wait until you hear what Casemiro just said about him. Dewey are seeing a level of unity that has been missing for years, and it's being led by the most influential figures in the squad. It all started with Casemiro. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the board, the Brazilian veteran went public with a massive endorsement. Casemiro stated clearly that, in his opinion, Michael Carrick completely deserves to stay as Manchester United coach. He didn't stop there, adding that Carrick has already demonstrated the qualities needed for the long term and deserves the club's total trust for a project. When a five-time Champions League winner and a global leader like Casemiro uses words like total trust and project, the hierarchy has to listen. This isn't just a player being polite. This is a heavyweight of the game, demanding tactical and managerial stability. It signals to the board that the veterans are not looking for another big-name appointment. They have found their leader right here at Old Trafford. But the support for Carrick isn't just coming from the senior pros. The younger wing of the squad is just as vocal. Amad Diallo recently echoed these sentiments, highlighting the incredible atmosphere at Carrington. Amad mentioned how really happy the players are to have Carrick as a manager, pointing out that even in the toughest moments, Carrick is there to talk and help. He explicitly stated that the team would be happy if Carrick remains head coach next season. This perspective from Amad is crucial because it shows that Carrick has created a psychological safety net for the younger players. They aren't playing in fear of making mistakes anymore. Amad noted that the biggest change is how impactful and together the team has become, where one person's mistake is shared by everyone. This culture of collective responsibility is exactly what allows young talents to flourish, and it's a direct result of Carrick's management style. However, as strong as Casemiro and Amad were, it was Kobbie Mainoo who delivered the most visceral and shocking quote of them all. In a statement that immediately went viral and left the fans stunned, Mainoo spoke about the sheer level of devotion the players have for their manager. He said the confidence Carrick puts in them makes you want to FIHT for him, and, most intensely, that you want to DIE for him on the pitch. This is the kind of quote that defines an era. Hearing a generational talent like Mainoo use such extreme, emotional language shows a level of loyalty that goes far beyond tactics. It's a psychological bond. When players talk about dying on the pitch for a coach, it means the manager has completely won their hearts and minds. The transition from Casemiro's professional respect to Amad's group happiness, and finally to Mainoo's raw intensity, paints a clear picture. The locker room is completely under Michael Carrick's control. The board is now in a position where moving away from Carrick wouldn't just be a coaching change, it would be a direct strike against the spirit of the entire squad. The reality is simple: the players have made their choice, and they've made it loud and clear. While the focus has been heavily on Michael Carrick's contract situation, the manager himself has been busy using every psychological tool in his kit to prepare for this weekend's massive clash. In a move that surprised many in the press room, Carrick decided to bring up one of the most painful memories in Manchester United's modern history, the 2012 title heartbreak at the Stadium of Light. For those who need a reminder, United had won their game against Sunderland and were essentially champions for a few seconds before the news of Sergio Aguero's late goal for Manchester City filtered through. Carrick was on the pitch that day, feeling the sudden shift from jubilation to absolute devastation. By explicitly stating, "I've not forgotten 2012, Carrick is doing something very intentional. He is projecting a level of focus and unfinished business that elevates this game from a standard league fixture to a personal mission. This is a masterclass in elite-level motivation." He knows that several players in this current squad weren't even at the club back then, but the United DNA is built on these historical moments of resilience. He is using that collective trauma to ensure that no one, absolutely no one, takes the foot off the gas. After the high of beating Liverpool 3-2, there is always a danger of a hangover effect. But by invoking the ghosts of 2012, Carrick has effectively killed off any chance of complacency. But this isn't just about the past, it's about a very dangerous present. Carrick was quick to praise Sunderland's current campaign, describing it as fantastic, and the data backs him up. Sunderland aren't just mid-table fillers anymore. They are pushing hard for European spots, sitting comfortably in the top half of the table. They are a well-drilled, high-energy side that thrives on playing the role of the giant killer, especially at home. Carrick's respect for them isn't just mind games, it's a tactical acknowledgement that if United shows up at anything less than 100%, the 3 points and our hold on third place could vanish. The tactical battle here is fascinating. Carrick highlighted that Sunderland has an awful lot to play for, which suggests he expects an aggressive, front-footed opponent. This suits United's current transition game perfectly. With the technical security of Casemiro and the energy of Kobbie Mainoo, United has become a team that can absorb pressure and strike with clinical precision. However, playing at the Stadium of Light is never just about tactics, it's about the atmosphere. Carrick knows the home crowd will be desperate to repeat the role of the spoiler. By bringing up 2012, Carrick is also signalling his own growth as a leader. He is no longer just the quiet midfielder who keeps things ticking. He is a manager who understands the weight of the badge and the narrative of the club. He wants his players to feel that history, to carry that edge, and to realise that every game at this stage of the season is a final. The race for the top 3 is incredibly tight, and with teams breathing down our necks, we cannot afford a slip-up. This emotional connection to the club's history is exactly what has been missing for so long, and it's why the bond between the fans and this team is stronger than it has been in years. Make no mistake, this weekend isn't just about 3 points for Carrick, it's about rewriting a story that has haunted him for over a decade. If you want to see the true impact of the Michael Carrick era, you don't just look at the league table, you look at the faces of the young players. Amad Diallo has just become the latest player to go public with his support for the current setup, and his words offer a rare insight into why the atmosphere at Carrington has improved so dramatically. Amad was incredibly vocal about his happiness, stating, "We are really happy to have him as a manager," and he made a point to emphasise that even in the toughest moments, Carrick is there to provide support. This is a massive point of discussion for the United faithful. For years, we've seen young talent stall or lose confidence under the weight of expectation at Old Trafford. But under Carrick, we are seeing a resurgence. Amad isn't just playing, he's thriving. He feels a level of personal connection and tactical guidance that is clearly bringing the best out of him. But Amad didn't just credit Carrick, he specifically mentioned the wider coaching staff, including assistant Travis Binion. This is a crucial detail that often gets overlooked in the mainstream media's manager-only narrative. Travis Binion's influence is a key component of what we might call the Carrick system. Coming from a strong background in the United Academy, Binion understands the pathway for young players better than almost anyone. By keeping him close and giving him a prominent role, Carrick has created a seamless transition from the youth ranks to the first team. It's the reason why players like Kobbie Mainoo look like 20-year veterans despite their age. They are receiving consistent, high-level coaching that values technical proficiency and positional intelligence over raw athleticism. Amad's comment about Carrick being there, even when you are in tough moments, is the most revealing part of his statement. It suggests a culture of psychological safety. In the past, a mistake at Manchester United could lead to a player being frozen out or publicly criticised. Carrick, drawing on his own experience of the immense pressure of playing for this club, has clearly implemented a different approach. He coaches through the mistakes. He builds the player back up. This is why the young core of this team, Amad, Mainoo, Garnacho, and even the likes of Lenny Yoro, look so comfortable in high-pressure games like the recent win against Liverpool, while the emotional atmosphere at Old Trafford is reaching its highest point in years following that 3-2 victory over Liverpool. The recruitment department is quietly making massive strides behind the scenes. We can now confirm through multiple high-level sources, including insights from Ben Jacobs and the team at the United stand, that Manchester United has established advanced contacts to secure Matheus Fernandes. This isn't just a surface-level inquiry. The club has been in active dialogue with the players' camp for the last 4 to 6 weeks. The message coming from the players' side is clear. Fernandes is open to the move. He sees the project Michael Carrick is building and wants to be a central part of it. However, the complexity of this deal lies in the current situation of West Ham United. The financial structure of this transfer is heavily dependent on West Ham's survival in the Premier League. If the Hammers manage to stay up, the negotiation is expected to be relatively straightforward based on a market value assessment. But there is a twist. If West Ham is relegated, the deal doesn't necessarily become cheaper. In fact, insiders suggest that without the Premier League revenue, West Ham would demand a significantly higher fee, essentially forcing United to overpay to compensate for their financial losses. This creates a fascinating dynamic where United's recruitment team is watching the bottom of the table almost as closely as the top. The interest in Fernandes isn't a reactive decision based on recent form. This has been a calculated pursuit since the beginning of April, signalling that the club has a very specific profile in mind for the Carrick era. Matheus Fernandes is being viewed as the ideal versatile engine for this new-look midfield. He possesses the technical security that Carrick demands, but also the defensive awareness to handle the physical rigours of the Premier League. He is the type of player who can bridge the gap between the defence and the attack, providing the same kind of tactical intelligence that Carrick himself once brought to the pitch. The goal here is clear. The club wants a player who can adapt to various roles, whether that's sitting deep to dictate play, or pushing forward to support the creative sparks like Bruno Fernandes and Matheus Cunha. The bottom line is that the recruitment strategy has shifted. We are no longer just looking for the biggest names available on the market. We are looking for tactical fits. Matheus Fernandes fits the high-potential, high-intelligence profile that the new sporting department under Ineos is prioritising. The fact that the player is already open to joining tells you everything you need to know about the current standing of the club. Players want to play for Michael Carrick. They see the third-place standing, they see the way the team played against Liverpool, and they want in on the project. This negotiation is a major test of the club's new efficiency in the market, as they try to navigate the West Ham complications to secure one of their top targets before the window even officially opens. From a tactical perspective, the pursuit of Matheus Fernandes is a brilliant piece of business. If you look at how Michael Carrick has set up this team, he relies heavily on midfielders who can rotate positions and cover ground without losing technical composure. Currently, we have been leaning on the experience of Casemiro and the raw energy of Kobbie Mainoo, but to truly compete for the title next season, we need more depth and more specialised profiles. Fernandes offers that transition. He is young enough to be moulded by Carrick's staff, including Travis Binion, but experienced enough in the Premier League to hit the ground running. The reality is that Casemiro, despite his incredible recent performances and his vocal support for the manager, is entering the final stage of his top-level career. United cannot afford to wait until he drops off to find a replacement. By moving for Fernandes now, the club is practicing proactive recruitment. It allows for a natural passing of the torch. Fernandes could spend a season learning the United way directly from a legend like Casemiro before eventually taking over the mantle. This kind of succession planning is what the elite clubs do, and seeing Manchester United operate this way is a breath of fresh air for the fans. Crucially, the West Ham factor shows that the club is being smart about its leverage. They aren't rushing into a bad deal, they are tracking the market conditions and the player's desire. If West Ham stays up, United gets a fair deal for a top talent. If they go down, the club has already established the relationship with the player to ensure that if they do decide to pay a premium, they are doing so for a player who is 100% committed to the badge. This news about Fernandes is just the tip of the iceberg, however, as the financial scale of the entire midfield overhaul is far larger than just one signing, involving a staggering amount of investment that is already being discussed in the boardroom. While the tactical stability Michael Carrick has brought to the pitch is undeniable, the most explosive news of the week centres on the sheer scale of the financial backing he is set to receive this summer. According to a detailed report from Chris Wheeler at the Daily Mail, Manchester United's hierarchy, led by the Ineos sporting department, is preparing a massive £150 million war chest specifically to rebuild the engine room. This isn't just about adding depth, this is a total overhaul of the most critical area of the pitch. The club has reportedly identified 3 specific slots in the midfield to fill, with a tiered spending plan that shows a level of strategic maturity we haven't seen in years. The centrepiece of this plan is a marquee £80 million signing designed to be the definitive successor to Casemiro. While we've seen incredible loyalty from the Brazilian recently, the club is fully aware that he is set to depart this summer, and finding a player of equivalent stature is the priority. This leads us to the most sensational transfer development of the month, the situation surrounding Aurelien Tchouameni. Reports coming out of Spain suggest that the French powerhouse has been involved in a high-profile training ground dispute with his Real Madrid teammate Federico Valverde. This internal friction has reportedly put several elite clubs on high alert, and Manchester United is understood to be at the front of the queue, viewing Tchouameni as the perfect marquee profile to anchor Carrick's midfield for the next decade. However, the £150 million plan isn't putting all its eggs in one basket. Behind that £80 million marquee slot, the club is also looking to spend approximately £40 million on a second midfielder, likely to replace Manuel Ugarte, who is increasingly expected to be sold to free up both squad space and wages. Names like Brighton's Carlos Baleba and Atalanta's Ederson have been heavily monitored, with the latter already being the subject of intensified contacts. This tiered approach, one superstar, one high-level Premier League proven talent, and a third versatile option like Matheus Fernandes, shows that United is finally moving away from the scattergun recruitment of the past. They are building a balanced unit that can sustain the high-intensity, technically demanding style that has already pushed us into third place. The inclusion of Aurelien Tchouameni in these discussions is a game-changer for the fans. We are talking about a player who was a primary target before he chose Madrid in 2022, and the prospect of him finally wearing the red shirt under a coach as technically astute as Carrick is a dream scenario. Tchouameni represents the absolute peak of modern defensive midfield play, physically dominant, aerially supreme, and exceptionally calm in possession. If the board can capitalise on the current tension at the Bernabeu and land him for that £80 million figure, it would be a statement of intent that resonates across the whole of European football. It would signify that Manchester United is no longer just a destination for players looking for a final paycheck, but a destination for world-class talents in their prime who believe in the direction of the club. From a journalistic perspective, the logic behind this £150 million investment is impeccable. You cannot expect Michael Carrick to compete for a Premier League title against the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool without a world-class midfield foundation. The success of the current season, built largely on Carrick's ability to squeeze every ounce of quality out of an ageing Casemiro and a developing Mainu, has proven that the coaching is there. Now, it is time for the recruitment to match that quality. By targeting 3 different profiles, United is ensuring they have the tactical flexibility to handle different types of opposition, something that has been a weakness in previous regimes. This is where the Carrick factor becomes so important. Any world-class midfielder, whether it's Tchouameni or Ederson, looks at Manchester United right now and sees a manager who actually understands their position. Carrick isn't a coach who will ask a technical midfielder to just run more. He is someone who understands passing lanes, body positioning, and the nuances of controlling a game. This makes the club a much more attractive prospect for players who value tactical growth. The reality is that the board isn't just spending £150 million on players. They are spending it on a system that Carrick has already proven can work. Make no mistake, the next few months will be the most significant in the club's recent history. Securing Champions League football by holding on to third place is the first step. But this midfield rebuild is the second, and arguably more important, step. If the club manages to pull off this plan, landing a marquee talent like Tchouaméni and supporting him with the likes of Fernandes or Baleba, we are looking at a Manchester United team that will be feared both domestically and in Europe. The days of a hollow, fragile midfield are coming to an end, and the era of a dominant, relentless United engine room is just beginning. As we look toward the clash with Sunderland and the final stretch of this incredible season, the picture at Manchester United is one of unprecedented unity and ambition. We have a manager in Michael Carrick who has found his voice and is demanding the clarity he has earned. We have a dressing room led by legends like Casemiro who are publicly fighting for their coach. We have young stars like Amad Diallo who finally feel at home in the first team. And now, we have a massive financial plan to ensure that the progress we've seen on the pitch is backed by world-class talent in the summer window. The victory over Liverpool was a turning point, but it was only the beginning. The goal now is to finish this season as strongly as possible, secure that third-place finish, and then move aggressively into the transfer market to build the squad Carrick needs to challenge for the ultimate prizes. This is a special moment to be a United fan. The club feels like it has its soul back, and for the first time in a long time, the future actually looks brighter than the past. Thank you for being part of this journey with us here at United Watch. We are committed to bringing you these deep dive breakdowns every single day, keeping you informed on everything from the tactical shifts at Carrington to the massive financial moves in the boardroom. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And one last thing, drop a comment below and let us know which of these three midfield targets is your #1 priority for the summer. Is it Tchouaméni, or would you rather see the club focus on someone like Carlos Baleba? Let's get the discussion going. My name is United Watch, and we'll see you in the next one.